Hi, this is U4 C6.L6.1. That means part 1. Inequality basics. Here's Mr. Romanovich.
Hello! Okay, here's where we take this to the next level. This is the start of this, so it's just going to get a little more complicated after this. This is the 7th grade math we're to now. We're going to be doing inequality basics, something you've done for a long time, but now we're going to include graphing and integers. So you're going to see how we graph inequalities, and then we're going to include integers, and we have this wonderful variable which means that our answers can go off into infinity. So let's just review briefly this stuff. If you remember right, the signs indicate which side the alligator would eat. So here's our greater than sign, so whatever number was here, the alligator would eat that. Here's our less than sign, which means the number on the right then was larger, so the alligator, being the worst party person you ever invited, would just eat whatever's the biggest thing there. That's a terrible joke, but I'm going to keep going. And then we have these symbols too. You're aware of these two. We have a greater than or equal to and a less than or equal to symbol, both indicating the same thing, but then the value could be also equal to whatever that number is. So for example here we have something like x is greater than, and let's just plug in a number here, x is greater than -3, which means, or equal to -3, which means x could be -3, or it could be any number greater than -3. So that's -2, -1, 0, and so forth, going all the way to the right in the positive numbers. Here x is greater than, let's just put -3 again for argument's sake. Now we know that x is every number that's greater than -3 and not including -3. So -2.9 off into infinity is included in this, but not -3. So anything smaller than or larger than -3. Likewise, for less than numbers here, let's use the same number here. If we're saying x is less than -3, that's every number that is less than -3. So we're talking -3.1, -3.00000000001, -4, -5, -6, -7, going all the way off to the left on the number line. Here we have x is less than or equal to -3, which means -3 is included in our shaded area, in the solution set. So it starts at -3 and then goes off into infinity of the negatives. Now, what does that actually mean? It probably makes a little more sense in practice than it does in explanation. So this is how we're going to graph these. And what we know already is we know how to graph a point. So let's start there. Here we have x equals -5. So for graphing, what you're going to be required to do is we're going to need a horizontal line, and then you're going to need 3 points. You're going to need a point that is the target point. There's your -5. And then you're going to need a point before and after the point. So you're going to need a -4 here and a -6. And what we know is that if we're going to graph x equals -5, we know that's just going to be a big old closed circle on -5. Okay, that's where we're at. Now let's take it to the next step. Here now x is greater than or equal to -5. And what we need is, we need our 3 points. Here's our 3 points. We've got -5, -4, -6. You could put more in if you wanted to. If you want to go up to 5, that's fine. If you want to include a 0, if you want to just put a 0 way out over here so you get an idea of where 0 was, that's fine too. But for this now we're seeing -5 is, or x is greater than or equal to -5. And because it includes -5, we're going to use the same symbol that we used for the equals. And that is a closed circle. Now, because it's not just equal to, it's also greater than, we're also going to draw an arrow that goes off into infinity. That's why it's an arrow. To the right. So x includes all of those values. So anything along that part of the number line is part of our solution set. X is greater than or equal to -5. We've included -5 because of the closed circle. And we've included all the numbers. We've shaded all the numbers to the right of that circle because it is greater than. If it's less than, let's put our 3 points on. We've got -5, -4, -6. If it's less than or equal to, we do the same thing. Because this equal to sign is here, we reference back to our equals to, which means closed circle. And now we check, it's less than. So if we're going less than, that means we're going off to the left. I once said greater than to the right, less than to the left. So now we have -5 included in our solution set because it's also possibly equal to. And then all the numbers that are less than -5. Okay, now here's the next part of this. What if we don't have that equals to sign? Let's start back at the beginning here. Here we have equals to, which I'm going to put in my 3 numbers. One before, one after. Then I'm going to plot my point. There is x equals -5, closed circle. Now what I have here is x is greater than -5. So let's get our points on our line. -5, -4, -6. Now, it doesn't have an equal sign, so instead of using a closed circle, now we're going to use an open circle. And that open circle indicates that the point that point is at, the point that circle is at, is not included in the solution set. So x is greater than -5. We put an open circle at -5 and then go off to the right into infinity. Okay? So every single value off to the right would include that value. Would include that in that solution set. So if we put 0 in for x, 0 is greater than -5. If we put 1 in for x, 1 is greater than -5. If we put 1,000,000 in for x, 1,000,000 is greater than -5. If we put -4.999999, that's greater than -5. Likewise then, in our last graph here, x is less than -5. Let's put our 3 points in. One before and one after our answer point. And then we have x is less than -5, which means open circle, because there's no equals to, open circle. Less than means we go to the left. And then every value to the left of -5 is a correct solution for this inequality, which means -6 is less than -5, -100 is less than -5. All that stuff works out for that. And what we'll be doing is we'll be solving inequalities that look like the equations. And after we solve those inequalities, we'll be able to graph them to show what the solution set is, because we're going to come up with an infinitesimal number of answers, not just one. So, for the purposes of this video, you should be able to graph these two. 6 is greater than x, or x is less than or equal to -3. Remember, plot 3 points, one before, one after, and the point. And remember, closed circle includes that answer, open circle does not include it. So closed circle has the equal to, open circle has no equal to. If you have any questions, ask Miss Me, ask Miss Benoit, ask me, ask Miss Purdue, ask anybody in the math department. We'll be there to help you out. This is probably going on really long, but I'm going to finish this anyways. Good luck!